welcome to the network. Welcome to the Two Dads edition.
Wait, that's not it.
Start again.
Two Dads, Gen X edition.
Hey, welcome to One Dad Gen X edition, where James is taking a massive piss, and so I'm taking over. We are secretly going to talk about the fear of dating over 45 and the struggles that he is struggling with, and Jason, and every man that can't find anybody because it sucks out there. So we are actually going to open up on two things. The No Men movement, which is kind of a new phenomenon that actually started happening after Trump got elected because a lot of women were pissed off, and we'll explain that. And then why it's harder when you get older. That's always a struggle because expectations. And ultimately, we're going to go into kind of a second part of app fatigue, horror stories. We'll get a little funnier. And then the gentleman exit, like getting up and getting out kind of thing. So he's taking a lot longer to pee than I expected. So, Jason, would you like to partake of this One Dad Gen X edition? Empty chair.
Sure, I'll chime in.
So there's basically been a thing called the No Men movement. James is actually going to come back, hopefully, and explain that because he did the research on it. I think I heard about it, where there was no men, no children, no dating men, no sex with men. And I think a lot of the men were like, I'm okay with that. Like, really, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you're okay with not having sex? Well, I guess you have a girl, so you have a woman, a wife soon to be.
No, just those people that were refusing to do that. I was like, I'm totally
yeah.
cool with that, kind of thing.
All right,
So, and he's back. All right, we are now back to being the Two Dad Gen X edition. And I already let him know that we're going to be talking about the fear of dating after 45.
the thing I'm experiencing at this point in my life.
Exactly what I said. And so, we're going to open up.
Is that how we're seriously
segment. That's the
Right
No
on.
Men
Well done.
movement.
Sorry,
And you kind of,
I had to urinate.
I know, and it's like you're probably like Austin Powers up there,
No,
just going on and on and on. I mean,
no, but there was this one time in the Army.
that Austin Powers.
No.
Okay.
I was so tired I didn't want to go to the latrine because it was like 100 yards away.
So you just pissed your bed.
No, we had 1 liter water bottles all over the base, and I had a couple empty ones, and I filled almost 2 of them.
I guess you're laying there. Putting that on road trip. Kind of thing. So explain to our guests the boy sober era and the paradox of
sober
loneliness.
era. I think this is the dumbest part of the feminist movement ever.
It really is.
It really is. But it's treating dating like an addiction, and that they're going to be sober from dating men and all this other stuff. And so it's like they are recovering from dating.
Well, and the funny thing about that is you actually go through that phase after divorce. So like,
Sure.
a lot of people get divorced. They'll go on this like dating escapade. They'll do a lot of stuff that they didn't get to do before they were married or whatnot.
Yeah. They're
And
gonna
then you
gain their
kind of,
independence and show how much.
no, it's just good.
life
I
they
mean, that's the whole
enjoy,
point
yeah.
of it. We talked about that, finding yourself, setting your own boundaries, dating yourself. And that episode, Dating Yourself, if you haven't seen it, it's a great episode. But the whole point of that is to find yourself before you date, kind of thing. And so a lot of mistakes people make is they start just speed dating.
Yeah.
And I think apps have made this a lot worse, and we're going to go over that and how I think personally it's killed women, not in a good way. Like it's actually made it harder for them.
We may not need to say it that way.
I just mean it's
It
just
has ruined women. How's that?
it's made the is there something better?
Yeah.
Am I going to settle because there might be something better on the app? Oh, there's something better. So it's like that's kind of the flaw, and we'll get to that later on.
Well, there's that joke where it's the husband store. Have you heard that one?
Yeah, that's a good joke.
Yeah. Should I tell it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
you can't not,
So the husband
you can't
store.
not just mention it. Not
It's a reflection of the attitude a lot of women have, where it's the husband store, and as the woman goes in, they tell her, okay, you can choose from any man on the floor, and as the floors get higher, the quality of man progresses, but you can go up, but you can never come back down. And so they go in, the first guys, the first men there are like, all right, they're blue collar workers. They work hard, but they come home and they drink their beer and they watch their football, and that's what they do.
And you can almost compare this joke to actual 20s, 30s, 40s.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
As age-wise, as dating.
And so the women are like, okay, well, those are good, decent men. Okay, but we'll go up a floor and see what kind of improvements there are. So the next floor, it's like, okay, these are some white collar guys, but they're good fathers. They enjoy kids, that kind of stuff. They make okay money, and they like to go golfing with their friends. Oh, okay, that's a little better. And they go up to the next floor. All right, these are the doctors and lawyers. They love their kids. They love their wives. They never cheat, anything like that. They're devoted, take you on vacation. Oh, that's great. What's the next floor going to have? If this is what this floor is, it must be better. So they go up another floor and it's empty and it's just got a bunch of women. No men, just women. It's like they're always trying to do something, trying to get something better.
Yeah.
Grass is always greener on the other side of the fence instead of appreciating the guy that you have.
Well, and I think that's the true value of, and that's what the sober movement, which the 4B movement is what you talked about, that started in Korea.
Yeah.
It started spiking here as in 224 and 25. And I think a lot of that was post-COVID related. I think people...
I don't think it's post-COVID. I think it's...
No, I think they serial dated so much that it left you're dating douchebags.
Yeah.
And you get burned so many times by these men that have no ethics, no moral, no drive, no anything, and they get to the point where like, fuck it, I'm just gonna be by myself. And the sad thing is it's happening on the guy side too, where it's like you get these gals that bring nothing to the table.
Guy side's different though.
It is. and so I think this movement was, I think there's stuff in Korea too, especially in Northern Korea, like specific rules.
North Korea? Yeah, there's a lot of rules in North Korea.
No, like who you can.
South Korea,
Northern South Korea. Gotcha.
No, like North Korea. Yeah, I'm talking about, because like
the communist country
that, like you can only date certain people, you can only date certain names, you can only, and so like their gene pool, like what they can actually date is way less. And I believe this actually started in North Korea, where there was like a anti-government movement, and then of course people twisted it and made it more about men instead of being forced to marry people you don't want to marry, kind of thing. And because I know India started doing that too, where they're like, I don't care that my name is Patel. I don't want to fucking marry another Patel because there's no good Patels.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And there obviously is a lot of good Patels, but that was the only name I know. So it's just, I think with that movement is you're starting to see the no marriage, no kids, no men, no dating, no sex, just me.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that huge decline in population across the world.
I just saw a video the other day where a guy is talking in a group of like intellectuals, and he's like in his 30s, and he said none of his friends have kids. None of his married friends have kids. They don't want kids.
Yeah.
They want the financial freedom. They want the freedom of time, all that kind of stuff. And so they're not having kids anymore. So the population is declining. But you have that. And then you have, people who they're focused on their careers in the beginning. They want to build their career. They're, boss babe, all this other stuff. And it's like, I'm going to, be this ideal that society is telling me I'm supposed to be. And then my life is going to be great. And now you see a whole lot of, there are kind of two main themes of videos that I see a lot of. And one of them is like, I'm a high value woman. I deserve a high value man. And then you get that 666 kind of expectation, 6 foot, 6 figure salary and 6-pack. But then you get women who are like, where are all the good men? There are no good men are out there in the dating pool. Well, what do you expect? You wanted to burn the system down.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny. I wish I kept that video of a guy. Like I woke up this morning and the first video was actually, and I think it's because I was doing research for this, was actually a guy talking about how good men in their 20s and 30s get divorced, they get cheated on, they get screwed over, they become that, they get stuck in a loveless marriage, because they're not respected, they're not appreciated, they're not anything. And so like I feel insanely blessed to have somebody that does respect me and love me and sees me for who me, but it took me fucking 48 years to find that, and I got to the point that I actually gave up. I'm like, I truly gave up on looking.
Yeah.
And she's the one that reached out. She's the one that saw and recognized my value and who I was. and she initiated it. And that's the thing is I was so burned from dating in my 40s because
Yeah, you've had some bad relationships.
it's just like I'm done. And I was to the point that I'm like, I was looking at being a Tibetan monk. I'm like, they brew beer, they do beer, they hang out, they don't have any bills.
Have you seen the video of that guy where he's like, all right, hear me out. I'm looking to marry another guy, but hear me out. You want the master bedroom? It's yours. You can date whoever you want. Maybe you have a boat. If you don't, that's all right. We'll buy one.
Yeah.
It's like, if you want to ride a motorcycle, you can borrow mine. If you don't want to borrow mine, we'll get you one. And it's just like, I want somebody where we can have the income and the tax bracket. We can have all the stuff. Date whoever you want. You bring home a hottie, great. I'll give you a high five. You bring home a chubby one, great. I'll give you a high five. It's just, but it's like, as you listen, it's like, that actually, at this point in my life, it's like, that makes a lot more sense. I'm not gay, but if another guy making as much money as I do, and we'd be able to do so much.
It's called a roommate.
That's,
you don't have to marry him.
What's that?
It's a little weird. You want to marry the guy.
Like, you don't have
I like
to
the
marry
logic
him.
behind it, not the. No, but I mean that's kind of where I am now. We're not marrying a guy, but like that idea of.
Okay.
But like the idea
Well,
of
Jason's available.
well, because there's
No, not for that.
I'll tell you something I've actually thought of. Finding somebody that I can actually like say, all right, let's just make this a contract, a transaction, where it's like we'll sleep together. I won't cheat on you, you won't cheat on me, but we'll jointly pay the bills.
Did you say we're going to sleep together?
What?
Well, they're married.
Yeah, like getting married to somebody where it's like,
are you a man or a woman?
We're not trying to be like in love and all this, but like let's just do this practically.
That's called a roommate.
With benefits. With benefits, financial and sexual.
But you're talking about a woman, right?
Yeah,
you're talking about a woman.
of course.
You're proving that
I am very, very straight.
You're proving the 4B movement and why they're doing it.
I'm doing it because of the 4B movement.
Well, and the funny thing about it and why it died so fucking fast in America is guys are like, good. Because the people that are doing it, nobody wants to fucking marry.
That's the thing. Like,
they're the ones that are fucking crazy on antidepressants. They're the ones that fucking want to change who you are, what you do, what you wear. I mean, the fact that there's stuff happening in our life right now because of age and stuff, it's like, grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you affecting my relationship when you're not in the relationship? I only see you 2 times a year, if that. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Totally.
And I can't do that. I want to be supportive and figure out a way around it. But it's those are the people that I think it was funny because the responses of people, of men that would see those videos, you'd read the thread. They're like, so you're doing what you do now anyway? It's like, you're not dating anyone, so it's easy for you. That's like someone that doesn't drink, that for Lent, they go, I'm not going to drink for 40 days.
Yeah.
You're not giving up anything. You don't do it anyway.
No, and that's the thing is like, at this point, having been divorced twice, and my kids are adults, and I have my own house, I got a career, I've got my own income, I've got my own stuff. It's like, it's just, if it's a bunch of women with attitudes, go ahead, have your attitude. I don't care. Go for it.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Well, and we see that what's that show with the guy that interviews only fangirls and
oh yeah, the Whatever podcast.
Yeah, the Whatever podcast.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I love when they have. It's just he's so good because he doesn't he never puts him down. He doesn't talk down to him. What I've seen, he just like.
Oh, but they take it that way.
He goes, here's the reality check.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's reality.
And it's like, and I think he was one of the first. It's like, what should your man make? What should he be like? What should he do for you? And then they have all these expectations. And it's, okay, what do you bring to the relationship?
Yeah, right?
Well, me. He goes, okay, you're a body. A guy can go buy a robot.
Yeah.
And get the same thing.
Or hire a hooker or something like that. Yeah. And if a guy wants to get laid, there are plenty of women they'll put out.
And sorry, I'm not putting that in the world, guys. Sorry.
No.
but the thing is it's sad. And so you sort of seeing the irony of the TikToks and stuff like that. It's like, I don't need a man, fuck man, I can do everything. But now you're starting to see videos of women struggling just to do things that they don't have to. Like, they don't even, I mean, you could literally call a maintenance guy and say, hey, can you show me how to do this? And I love like Home Depots and Lowe's and stuff like that do help. That's why they made those classes to help, single women that have a home to be able to do those things. And I'll tell you right now, a lot of those women are go-getters, are strong. They have great values, and they want families.
Well, and that's the thing is like, great. Yeah. You don't need a guy. You don't need a man. I don't need a woman. I don't, but I want one. Do you want a guy?
Apparently you want a man.
Yeah, right. No, but like there's a video out there.
Pegging is coming back, guys.
But like there's the video. There's a video out there, and there's a woman. She's got the hood open. And she's like, I don't need no man. And she's pouring windshield washer fluid into her oil.
Oh.
And it's like, yeah, you don't need a man.
But you're going to need a mechanic.
You're going to need a mechanic, and 95% of those are men, But the idea of like, yeah, you don't need one. Be independent. Be strong. Make your money. Do that. Great. But do you want one? If you want one, why the attitude? You don't have to. I'm not trying to like, I don't need a woman. No, I'd like one. I'd like to have a partner. I'd like to have somebody that I can build a life with, all that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to just be with somebody because I want to be with somebody. I'm not going to feel obligated to be with somebody. I want somebody I can build a life with.
Yeah.
I've looked for it. I haven't found it. So I'm a little bit jaded, but it's not the attitude. It's attitude is like, it's based in pride.
Well, and you've reached out and you're like, what am I doing wrong? It's like, and I told you, I go, it's probably the apps.
Yeah, I got rid of that. Finally,
90% of the people that I've met on the apps and dated, like, broken, hurt, they're wanting someone to lift them up. I found that when I was on those, that I was good until they felt good, and then once they started feeling good, they would still be on the app looking for the next best thing, and it just was really frustrating.
Yeah.
And so, kind of leading into our next segment is, why is it harder when you get older?
Well, and before we get into that, though, like if you are intrigued by this conversation,
yes,
definitely like, follow, and subscribe. Hit that bell so that you get notifications for other episodes that we do, because we talk about some of the frustrations in our lives, right?
Yeah,
yeah. But but why is it harder? I'll tell you one reason. I will share this with you.
If you like to see grown men cry,
yeah.
Because I was told as a kid, it takes a big man to cry, but a bigger man to laugh at that man.
Amen to that. No, I'm just kidding. No, so I actually took a picture of a profile that on this dating site that I had. This is one of the reasons why it's harder. Okay? This is a 41-year-old woman.
VQIQ is going to go, you needed to show that picture. And
no,
it's like, no, we don't.
It's not the picture. It's just,
fuck you.
So on this app that I used to be a part of, I no longer have it. I had it until the end of March, and I went ahead and just deleted it because I was so tired of it.
Barbers.com.
So it's got prompts, and then you answer your prompts.
Oh yeah,
okay?
Hinge, right?
Not Hinge.
Okay.
And so this is what a prompt was. After work, you'll find me. And then, so this is supposed to be like an insight into who this woman is. Stitching something cozy, pedaling through sunshine, swimming like a mermaid, dancing in the kitchen like no one's watching, and hoarding gummy candies like it's currency. That's what I did.
I would be like,
swipe left, yeah. And in this app,
I like
swipe
the dancing
down.
in the kitchen part, but the rest of swimming like a mermaid.
No, it's bullshit.
Have we seen a mermaid?
That's a Chat GPT generated response where somebody who is lonely and is trying to present themselves a certain way, and she's just like, "How do I make it look like a?" No, and then here's another one. You ready?
Well, it's like the gym rat bros.
Oh gosh, where they're like flexing.
No shirt, yeah. They're in front of a mirror. With, I'm like, dude, probably
all right.
Fuck up.
I want someone who can quote RBG. You know who that is?
Oh, I was like role playing games.
Nope, no. RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, okay.
All right. How many men out there can quote the first female Supreme Court justice? So that screams a feminist. Anyway.
Which is fine.
Which is fine. Got it. Whatever. So someone who can quote RBG, name their emotions, plan a spontaneous trip and a retirement account, and knows when to be the life of the party and when to be the calm in the storm. Who the fuck is that? You want a guy who's a feminist, who can talk about their emotions, be spontaneous, has money, knows when to have fun, and then can keep you calm when you're feeling.
I mean, it described
erratic.
you perfectly.
I can, except for the quoting RBG, but it's like a guy that can do all that
I
kind of
quoted
stuff.
her yesterday.
But you, I guarantee you wouldn't go look it up.
No, but the thing is,
And
is
now
like,
you can.
if that's what the profiles are saying, one, that's probably not an accurate reflection of who she is, because it sounds all wonderful and you know, butterflies and rainbows coming out of asses and stuff like that. That's not the reality.
No,
of who
she
that
would have
person
put
is.
that on there. I can put, I can
that is
pump Rumbos
not-
out of my butt.
That is not the reality. If you are divorced and 41 and that's what you're saying, and you're this wonderful person and everything is wonderful and I just want a good life with somebody to. No, there's that's this is part of the problem with me being a therapist. I read into that so far. It's like I could probably tell you exactly what kind of personality she actually has. She's argumentative. She will shut down on you if you make her mad. So there's no intimacy, no sex, no affection, no nothing until you apologize. She wants somebody that's going to be like her comfort. But if you are a man that is strong, that offends her because that's toxic masculinity, which is just going to piss the guy off. And then she's going to do that reactive abuse where it's like, see what I have to deal with. You're angry all the time. Well, you know, you treat me like shit.
He's letting it out, guys.
I'm kind of letting it out.
I think we should put it shift it to the app episode.
Well, yeah, I know. We'll do that too. I'll get an app
I
just
can't
so I
wait
can
till
look.
we actually get to that when we have three girls on here that actually are different ages. And you're
Oh,
like,
that's going to be great. That's going to be great.
because they'll all be going, "You are wrong."
Well, and so
you know, it's good. You're good that you're wrong.
From my experience, because you're not in this boat anymore because you're engaged.
But that's the thing is, like, I had the same fears though, like, but mine were compounded by, you know, our age difference and stuff like that. So it's like I was very, very, very attentive to understanding what her goals were and what she wanted, and I was like, it was not like a checkbox of I can do that, I can do that, I can do that.
Right.
It's like, I mean, I guess I really was like, what do you want? What do you look forward to? How do you want to be? And the great thing is we had beautiful, genuine conversations and got to the point that I knew where she was, where she stood on a lot of things before I proposed. And it's like, I would not have proposed. I mean, you're in your 20s, you propose, it's like, oh yeah, you're thinking with your lower head and you're just happy in the moment, you know, and then you throw in different religions where they get so horny that it's like, hey, let's go get married.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
Which
so we can
happens a lot.
not break the rules.
Yeah.
And so with her, once she came to me, you know, it was a natural at work kind of thing. We started talking, got to know each other, had so much in common, you know, before we even dated.
Yeah.
We figured it out. And I think I looked at it differently where I was actually going, I mean, I looked at common goals, blending family, because those are the two things that have burned me countless times.
Yep.
You know, the other stuff I've seen is dating, like at this age, around 40 is when all your underlying diseases start catching up to you and you start understanding, okay, what's going on? Cancer, you know, illnesses, diabetes, heart
I
disease.
just recently had my 13th surgery, 14th surgery, something like that.
You know, and then so you have to know, is that going to do? You got the moral gap, you know, the hookup culture, stuff like that. Like
the hookup culture of the 20s is now in your 40s.
You know, and we'll go. And so these are all the things that I was, I guess, breaking down. It's like, how do you feel about family? How do you feel about my kids? How do you feel about this? Where do you want to live? How do you want to be? What are your goals for you? Like your life? How can I support you in your goals and help lift you and build, you know, be there by your side? And is that something I can do? You know, and as I do that, will you do it for me? Kind of things. And those were great conversations we would have, you know, and so I knew exactly where she stood and she knew where I stood before I proposed. And that was totally different from the others. You know?
Why are you still afraid you're going to fuck it up?
Because she's so freaking awesome. I mean, she's
Just accept.
it's literally what
Yeah.
your mom told you when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
You know,
I know.
just be
You
who
guys
you are.
Horrible.
Treat them with respect.
Yeah.
And they'll see your value, and eventually you'll find the one that matches you. And we talked about that in the romance one, which, you know, come on, guys, it's Valentine's week. You're not, you know,
Yeah.
you're not watching our romance episode. Come on, step it up, boys. But it was one of those things that I did get to the point, and I do believe a lot of women have been burned by guys as well. And so you kind of get in this mode of, instead of finding what you want, you're trying to find, I don't want that again. So in a way, I kind
you're
of
trying to avoid the things that you don't want rather than looking for the things you
Things you
do
want.
want. Yeah.
And so you got, they're checking all the boxes, they're checking all the things. I go, well, here's the thing. I kind of I got to the point where I was starting looking at dating like a fantasy football team. And when I say that, when I have a player that burns me,
All the guys just started paying attention. Oh, that makes sense to me.
it's like Lamar Jackson, right? Great player, awesome guy, very spiritual. And like before that, before I knew he believed in God, and I would have nothing if it wasn't for Heavenly Father.
Right.
I would never pick him up because I thought he was arrogant, selfish. And then as I started to see his actual persona and who he was, I was like, I'll draft him this year. And so I drafted him, and he got hurt, and he was out the whole season. And he burned me.
Right.
And what's funny is the last time I did a quarterback that could run and score and throw was Michael Vick. And it's like, I'm never doing another quarterback like that because it burns me. And so it's kind of like that. You dated a girl in your 20s that was a narcissist and tried to stab you. You're like, okay, I'm never dating another narcissist again. Well, it's kind of hard to find a narcissist at first because they're so good at pretending.
Yep.
And so you kind of, I think by 40, for guys and girls, you kind of get in this avoidant phase where you're trying to avoid the things that burned you.
Yeah.
When really you should be going, how did I communicate back then? Why was I bad at communicating? How could I have expressed those? How could I have seen that sooner? And so you kind of, I think you get in a pattern of finding the same type of people because you're not breaking the pattern.
Well, and that's where, like with my two marriages, where the first marriage, you know, she was beautiful, it was passionate. For a lot of the marriage, we had a really very good and active, intimacy, that kind of thing. But there were a whole lot of other issues too. In my second marriage, I was looking for like the opposite.
Yeah.
And so on paper, she was, very spiritual and humble and totally a different person. And I did things a whole lot different too. I was much more open and communicative than the first marriage. In the first marriage, one of the problems that I've had, and I've talked about this in past episodes, where, I wouldn't, like, if she was mad about something, I would just apologize and I would work on me, and I wouldn't bring things up. I wouldn't try and communicate through it. I would comply. You know? I was the nice guy, right?
It's like you're already 10 years in your marriage with a loneliness marriage where you've got beat
very
down
much so, very much so. And, hindsight is a great teacher. And so with the second marriage, I was very open about stuff to probably, maybe apparently too much, because a lot of it got turned around on me. Like at one point, I had the thought of like, wow, we make really good roommates, because there was almost no intimacy. And we were getting along great. We were friends and all that kind of stuff, but there was like no intimacy at all. So I had that thought, and I was like, that's not a good thought. So I talked to her about it, and I said, I don't like that. That's the thought that crossed my mind. I want to fix this. What do we need to do? And she latched on to I only think of her as a roommate. Yeah. And it's like,
you're like, son of a bitch.
It's like, no, I'm trying to communicate. I'm trying to resolve this. I'm trying to work through this, which is not what I did in the first marriage.
Yeah.
But it did not go well. So now it's like, I have these two extremes now, and it's like, where's the balance, and is there a balance that I can find? I know there is. Deep down, I know that there are good women out there that are genuine and honest and wonderful and, all this other stuff. I can't find them on the apps.
Well, I know. And I think for me, I almost kind of described it in the T. It's like I got to the point in my marriage that I was complacent, just basically put my dreams and aspirations in the back burner. I really just wanted to be a dad because, kind of thing. I didn't have a dad growing up, and I just wanted to have the life I didn't have. And of course I made those mistakes, but then I ended up in a relationship like that, where we were just roommates. I'm doing everything, cook, cleaning, laundry, taking me in the house, raising the kids, and I'm getting nothing back. No thank yous. No, I appreciate you. You understand. And I think the biggest slap in the face for me is when she got an award and it read like she was a single woman.
Yeah.
No family, no mention of me. I couldn't have done this without. And I think she totally could have done everything she's done if she didn't have a family.
Yeah.
She would have made all those achievements. And there's part of bitterness of, we got divorced right at your peak of going to the extreme of awesomeness, your finances, you're great, you're all this stuff.
A lot of times where it happens.
And so what sucks is, I helped support in such a way that she was able to elevate, and then I got removed, or I removed myself. And so I never got to have the actual benefits of helping her achieve those things. and that's like, I don't give a shit, that's her, whatever, her life. But that's what I wanted as a family member. Like, that's what I wanted in a family is we both help lift each other, help grow each other. And
how dare you think that?
And what's crazy is, and then I did the same mistake. I tried to do the opposite with my ex, about a home, tried to blend. But I was so focused on the blended family part because my blended family was horrible. Like, our stepmom was
you've talked about that.
Horrible. And I just did not want that to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then to find out that was her whole goal, was to get me to not want to see my kids ever again. And I'm like, I wish you told me that when we were dating that.
Yeah.
How close to your kids are they going to be in our life? Because I would have been like, fuck yeah. And you knew they were. And so I had put my foot down. I'm like, fuck you, I'm out. Kind of thing. And so I think, and then I had the relationship to that. It was just very toxic and horrible. And it really took me, I sat down and really evaluated, okay, what did I do wrong in every relationship? Not as to like, what was my fault? It was like, did I communicate? Did I stand up for myself? Did I made those mistakes that I wish if I did this, I probably could have had a good relationship,
Not
with
with her.
Day. And no, I just met with my ex-wife. It probably could have been, because I got in a phase of loneliness that I was butthurt all the time. We got super defensive.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one thing with Sid is I was like, I want you to feel safe to come to me and talk to me. I want you to feel safe with your concerns and do that. And so that's one thing I've worked so hard about. When she's upset about something, she knows she can come to me. And it took like a good year, I think, for her to feel safe. And that's how it should be. You help make your spouse feel safe in that relationship, that you can communicate.
Right. Well, and I think that's one of the problems that a lot of people have is that, because of their baggage, because of the issues that they had in their prior relationships, they, like for me, one of the big things after my first divorce was I was trying to protect my kids from the chaos as much as possible, which made me hyper aware of chaos.
Yeah.
And so it became its own beast of a situation where, I was, not that my kids saw it very much, but like I was reactive to everything.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to make sure that they had the best possible stability, life, love, support, all that kind of stuff that I would, and with the custody and visitation, all that kind of stuff, all that arrangement where I had sole custody, both physical and legal custody, final decision-making authority. And so it was like, and I don't think I overreacted too much. I'm sure that my ex-wife would say I overreacted to everything.
But you probably did,
but
just because of the situation.
Well, part of it was, though, it was between her and I that I was reacting to. The kids didn't really see this kind of stuff, but she took me back to court to change visitation and tried to claim that I was monitoring my kids' phone calls because I had a camera facing the front door in the room that they would typically talk to her in. And so she said that I was listening in through that camera. It wasn't happening, but that's what she thought. She was hyper reactive to me too.
Perception, yeah.
Yeah. And so, but my focus was stability for my kids, making sure that they were loved, that they were safe, that they had what they needed to. And then whenever there were things in the divorce or in the like the visitations and stuff like that at first almost never happened. But when they started going out to see her, for 2 weeks in the summertime and then, around Christmas time, she would always be trying these stupid little things. Like one of the things that I said is I'm not opposed to, because I had to pay half of the flights. And so she and her husband brought up baggage fees. I was like, well, I teach the kids to pack in a carry-on and a personal bag.
So you're not going to have any, yeah.
So that we don't have to worry about baggage fees because it's extra money. I don't make a lot. And so there was one time where she like sent me the bill for like food at the airport. Well, she had told my oldest daughter, if you buy them food, then I'll reimburse you. Well, I'd sent my kids with snacks so that they'd have stuff to munch on, granola bars, whatever. It's not a lot of time in the air. And so she then sent me this bill for the food. I'm like, we didn't talk about that. I didn't agree to this. I'm not paying it. And it was things like that where it's like she wouldn't talk to me about these expenses and sharing costs on certain things. She would just expect me to pay half of it. It's like,
well, yeah, and that goes back to like as you're dating, you're like, okay, that's one of those subconscious fears that like, am I going to find someone else like that? And so I know that projected back to you on your next marriage where it's like going to Costco, spending $300 and going to Costco again the next day and then Target around 50. And you're like, hey, can we talk about this stuff first?
And that's what I did differently in the second marriage, because there was that, I think I talked about it once in a previous episode where we were talking about finances, and $2,300 one month in groceries.
Yeah, dude.
For four people. I'm like 4 or 5 people.
I can't even imagine spending that much money.
It was like $400 at Sam's Club and then $200 at Price Chopper and then another $600. I'm like, what is going on? And we didn't talk about it. We had talked about like the things that we needed. That's where I found out that she had some anxiety about grocery shopping or shopping at all. Because if she ever wondered if we needed it, she'd get anxious and she'd buy it just to make sure. We had tons of food in the house. Even then, we had tons of food in the house. It's like $2,300 that month in groceries. What the fuck? But that's part of the baggage. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to work on, that I've been working on now is to recognize that's just, I want to understand the baggage now. And I want to be understood with my baggage. You don't have to conform to take care of me. And I don't want to have to conform to take care of you. But let's understand each other.
Well, yeah. And it's one thing I kind of learned too is I don't want to say oversharing too soon.
Yeah, the word vomit.
I mean,
Here's all my baggage in the beginning. Yeah.
I legit went through a phase where, let's say, I think I dated somebody for like a month and I forgot what it was, but I think it is like, she's like, I can't believe you lied about this. I was like, what are you talking about? Well, that's something you should have told me. And I wish I could remember what it was, because it was like having a blue car. It was just like so trivial that I'm like, fuck, do I need to like share everything? And so like the next date, she actually left the date. I shared so much. I'm like, and because she actually opened up with like, what's the worst thing you could tell me right now?
Okay.
And I'm like, can you imagine? It's like, someone says that and you're like, oh yeah, I kidnapped a kid when I was 15. It's like, oh, actually I murdered somebody. That's such a open-ended question. It's like, and so I actually asked her, I'm like, that is a really big question. And she goes, yeah, I'll know if I want to stay depending on your answer. And
it's like, let me make that decision for you. Bye.
I was like,
yeah.
It just blew my mind. So I'm just like vomiting everything. I'm like, all right, fine. I'll just throw it all out there. It's like, and she's like, yeah, this isn't going to work. And left. And I was like, yeah, all right. Learn that lesson kind of thing. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of that. And I think, we talked about like the common goals, blending families, the check engine light with getting older.
Yeah. My check engine light's on all the time.
It's hard because it's like, I think that's one of the things that came up to Sid from her family is like, well, yeah, I mean, the age difference, like he's going to get old faster and you're going to be just taking care of him for the half of your life.
Yeah.
And fuck, I mean, she literally like, I love her so much that she could have a stroke today and I would still take care of her for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
because I love her, and people don't realize that it goes both ways. Like I've seen couples, I saw this beautiful couple. They were 85 years old. They were high school sweethearts. Both got married twice, had kids with both families, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And eventually they moved into the same retirement community and kind of bumped into each other and started dating again, got married. And the day after they got married, she had a stroke and died.
Mm.
And so she was on a ventilator.
Why did you tell that story? Now all the women out there are going to be like, oh, that's such a beautiful love story. That's what I want.
No, but the thing is, all of us healthcare workers, because she's on the ventilator and they're deciding to take her off. All of us are like, dude, that sucks. And he goes, it is the best blessing of my life.
Yeah.
He goes,
see, that's the love story that the women always want.
I married the person I wanted to marry back when I was in high school, but we didn't find it was good for us. We moved on. Da, 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 da. And so I think you never know. Life's too short. If you live in fear all the time, you're never going to be happy. You know, like you said, if you're comparing, you know, in our last episode, if you're comparing your life to someone else, you're always going to find sorrow because you can't do that. It's like, you have to be in your situation, your life, your stuff. And like I said, it's like, I broke down all these things, you know, like common goals, blended families, illnesses. And then we had the moral gap of things nowadays. When you have 40, it's almost worse than the 70s. It's became a standard now. I mean, you've had that happen to you where they're like, well, I need to have sex with you before I can really date you.
Yeah, there was a woman that I was talking to. Well, it was not before dating, but it was like, it was just this expectation of like, well, I have to make sure that the sex is good. How about, you know, which I understand that because, you know, I've not to be too critical of my second wife, but like the intimacy was almost non-existent. Yeah. You know, so it's an important part of a marriage to have that connection, the physical connection, the sex, all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, it's important, but like that's the icing on the cake. What about personality? What about, you know, our finances and goals and all the other stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think for women, and only because I've been told by a few that are dating in their 40s and 50s, they're like, I don't want to have to train somebody again how to please me. And I looked at one of them, I go, that's kind of the fun of being in your relationship. Is
yeah, that is part of the fun part.
You can't do what you did with so-and-so because that might not be good for them and vice versa. And it's so funny because I'd hear, you know, girls say, yeah, I started dating, he's great, but oh my God, he's a horrible kisser. I go, or he's kissing like his ex did.
Yeah.
And he'll learn to kiss you the way you like if you're open to it and honest and straightforward. And I think the people that have great intimacy and great relationships when it comes to that are the ones that are open, honest, not scared to speak up. They don't get butthurt when your partner speaks up. And that is the beauty of growing, because everyone knows the first time is always the awkward time. It's kind of nervous, and then it just gets better over time the more safe you feel with that person. And so I was the same way. It's like I could not tell you how many girls I turned down and get ghosted.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to sleep with you on the first date. I might not sleep with you for 5-6 dates, you know, because it's just not who I am. And it's sad as you start to get beat down to the point that you're like, I guess this is the new standard. This is how it is nowadays. That kind of sucks. And I'll tell you right now, that did more damage to me mentally than just being single.
Well, that's where I wonder how much of just the way our society has just destroyed relationships because of those expectations, those demands, you know, the women.
Well, they're trying to get rid of the family unit.
Oh, totally.
They want to get
totally.
rid of the family
but like
unit.
The whole idea of like, you know, the 666, you know, kind of idea, or the woman who's like, oh, I'm a high value woman, and I need a high value man, and I'm not going to settle for anything less, and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, what is your expectation? What do you consider high value? And, you know, instead of getting to know the person, and I think the societal expectations are destroying the ability to have genuine relationships And I think the underlying frustration for me is probably more along those lines where it's like, I just don't, we don't have what our parents were able to have.
Nope. No, and I think there is actually a secondary movement that people don't realize is there actually are a lot of women going back to traditional morals.
Yeah, right.
Traditional respect, opening the door and saying thank you and splitting the date and, just kind of things that really are like, I mean, there's a reason why younger girls date older men. Because one, they've gone through hell and back.
Mhm.
They've if they're smart, they've questioned who they were. They've evaluated what they did wrong. They understood from what they did wrong. And two, they put it forward to the new relationship. And those are the guys that the girls that like, they want that nice guy. Well, you burn a nice guy enough, guess what he becomes?
He becomes a douchebag. Yeah.
And just the same thing. A guy burns a girl enough, what does she become? Just a bitter, angry individual that doesn't trust men.
Yeah.
And it goes both ways. And we both destroy each other in a way that's like, just stop playing games. It doesn't need to be that hard.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And so
I think that there are probably, and I've said this many, many times to friends and stuff like that, I think there are probably some wonderful, wonderful women out there and some wonderful, wonderful men that if they actually connected would have great relationships, but everybody's so burned out.
Yeah.
Because of the dating apps, because of dating, because of what they see on social media,
Instagram,
all that stuff.
Unrealistic expectations. I mean, I've had kids that go, I see what girls want, and then like in their 20s, and it's like, I guess I'm going to be alone. And I'm like, no, you're just seeing the ones on Instagram. That's what they want. The ones on TikTok, that's what they want. They're not the ones that want that. There are actually really good people out there that just spend their time dating themselves, bettering themselves,
and
in a
that's
way
the thing. Is
that's
like,
good.
There's a lot of men out there because most of my clients are men, and I'm in this same kind of boat where it's like as much as I'm not seeing anybody. I'm just living my life. I'm doing the things that I want to do and need to do. I have peace in that.
Yeah,
my life has peace.
Yeah, that's why you're seeing
I'm not willing to lose that just because I'm alone. And so it's not that there aren't wonderful women out there. It's I'm not willing to threaten that peace anymore. I'm absolutely willing to have somebody join me, and I want to join them, and I want to build a life with somebody. But it's like, I don't bring the chaos. If somebody's chaotic, if they're trying to follow these trends and all this other stuff, that's not what I'm looking for anymore.
Yeah, and I think it just takes a lot. I mean, I think
does.
Once you date yourself and you kind of understand where you're at and what you want, it's easier to remove negativity from your life.
Yeah.
And so it kind of goes back to the next segment of, is it an age thing or is it a person thing? Which we are kind of already described. It's more of a person thing versus an age thing.
Yeah.
Because you're starting to see smarter 20-year-olds that are like learning how to date. So I think the dating world got lost.
You're saying I should lower the minimum age?
No. No, don't. No, I'm saying
it's always the threshold's always been they've got to be at least 10 years older than my youngest daughter, or my oldest daughter, excuse me.
No, it's kind of a beauty way of saying it is I think kids are learning how to date again, where I think society told you how to date, and society told you what to do and what to look for. And you're really seeing that a lot in colleges too. It's like, you need this, you need that, you have to have this, or they're being brainwashed to think a certain way that if you don't have these qualities in a guy, he's a piece of shit. If he doesn't make this much money, he's a piece of shit. Some of the happiest couples, they don't have a lot of stuff, they just have experiences and quality of time. And that's the beauty of it, is when you learn that it's more about experiences and quality of time. And I've seen so many memes, or not memes, just like love things, that it's more about being lost in each other and like your friends, or like a nice benefit on the side. You go hang out with your friends, you go on trips with your friends. But like all the love stuff, when I was trying to fix my marriage, I mean, I was looking at everything, and it's like, 2 long vacations together, 3 short vacations and only one with your kids, one with your family. Because the family, they grow up over time, they build those, but you build those as they get older, kind of thing. But the important is, in the movie with Paul Rudd, This Is 40, there was so much truth to that. And the therapist said, he goes, how's your life when you go on vacation? When all the stress of the world of being an adult are there, how's your life in vacation? I love that movie because they showed it. They went on vacation and they were carefree, happy, loving, did it every day. And it just proved that, like, hit at home. That's like, and that's for an eye opener for me back when I was married. It's like, yeah, it's actually worse when we go on vacation because we're stressed about money. We're stressed about this. We're stressed about that. And I love now, it's like, my whole focus in life is to just have those experiences and blend and be happy. And I think that's, goes to the age thing is as we get older, we learn to either find ourselves or we blame other people for our issues.
Yeah. And, the last episode it talked about, comparison is the thief of joy. I think too many people are trying to chase this idea of what the ideal is rather than, the beautiful reality of the day to day. I have a client who she and her ex-boyfriend of a couple of years were like, on trips, it was great. It was fantastic. It was exciting. It was passionate. It was all this other stuff. But then the day to day was just angry and, controlling and all this other toxicity.
Because they weren't a team.
Well, not just that, but it's like the expectation was that that's what life is supposed to be. The day to day is your foundation of everything.
Yeah.
The relationship and your day to day, the in and out, the bills and the going to work and falling asleep and all that other stuff. That's the foundation of the relationship. The chaos, the going on vacation and it being a good, positive, fun, peaceful experience, I think should be a reflection more of the home life than anything else, where it's like, oh, we get a little bit of a break and that's why it's a good thing.
Yeah. And that's what they were saying is
right.
It should be good because you're getting a break from the things that you guys fight together on.
But if people are not able to find any kind of joy unless they're on vacation, to me, that indicates that the stability of your life isn't there. The reality of your life is that it's not the right kind of relationship, because that peace and that calm and that joy, I think, should be able to be found at home, not just on a vacation.
Yeah. And that's kind of the whole point of that.
Yeah. And so finding somebody that's what they bring. That's what they bring to the table, and that's what I bring to the table for them. That's the goal. And I don't know. I think our society's fucked up.
Well, it's not fucked up. It's just, I think there's like, it goes back to the app fatigue and kind of going to like that second part of this, and we'll go a little faster, but it's like you get the app fatigue, you got the horror stories that burn people, like scare people so bad to where they're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. You see that sexual shift, and it's like, something horrible happens, like a girl's raped, so then she's like, I'm only going to date women because I'm not going to deal with men anymore. Or let's say he's abusive and cold.
Did you know that 100% of lesbian relationships are broken up by women?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh my God. True story.
That's true. Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
But it really just goes down to show it, and it sucks because you start like the OnlyFans, I think, is destroying women. I think.
Yeah.
You see these girls are like, I'm leaving, I'm out, I'm just gonna start an OnlyFans, I'm gonna make millions of dollars, and then they just sleep with a lot of guys and they don't make any money, and then they're like, regret it. I mean, I saw one couple that she did OnlyFans for 2 years.
Okay.
And made like $30 million. But they spent $4 million having it all wiped from the internet.
Yep.
Just to make money. And she had to quit her job. They had to move, all this stuff just to find peace again. I go, well, that's not what that's for. I mean, come on, guys.
Well, it's the focus on the money and the stuff rather than just life.
Yeah. And, so I think these apps are destroying the souls of people. That's why you're seeing countries banning it from their country. They're making it, putting age limits on it, making it to where kids can't be on it. The doom scrolling is proved that people are getting stupider.
Yep.
You know, and I saw a great thing on technology, the fears of technology and what people were scared of, and the cell phone and calculators. Well, nobody can do cursive anymore because they don't teach it. So no kids can sign their names. They do block letters. They can't do basic math. You know, I remember in high school, I was doing calculus in my head, and I got sent to the principal's office because it made the teacher look bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry you're not smart enough to do this in your head, but I don't give a shit to use a calculator. I don't want to get to where I can't.
Right.
And you know, of course, now that I'm old,
Me, I just chose a
need
career that I don't need math.
I need a calculator, but I see that with these kids coming in, they can't do basic math on drips, and I see that they got pumps that are pre-programmed.
Yeah.
So there's no critical thinking anymore.
Well, and I think when it comes to like dating at this point, at this stage of life, it's like that trend. It's the, you know, the trickle down economics kind of thing. This is a trickle up societal expectation where it's going up into our age group. So yeah, it might be the early 20s, early 30s that are experiencing this, where they don't know how to write in cursive. They don't know how to do math in their head. They don't know how to, you know, change a freaking tire on their car. But then that's what's out on social media.
Change a light bulb.
Yeah, change a light bulb. But like, but that kind of trend of like, I deserve is now trickling up into Gen X. You know, our generation, where it's like, instead of the really cool, like we can attack and accomplish anything, we can go overcome whatever, we've already been through the shit, that kind of thing. No, now it's becoming this keeping up with the Joneses, and I expect the best because I think I deserve the best, even though I didn't do anything to earn it. Yeah. You know, and I think that's part of what's just destroying it.
Well, and I think that's I love about my relationship and Sid is I think we're actually more 80s style relationship.
I know. I've said you guys suck.
But that didn't happen because we're different or special. It's because we chose it. We chose not to let our phone dictate our life. I mean, when we go on a date, we forget our phones half the time. We always have them down.
Yeah.
I know there's times I'll pick up the phone and you guys are like, dude, where are you? Where are you? I'm like, I'm on a date.
Yeah.
It's because she's my priority. She's my number one.
And I think
that's the only way it stays that way,
but
is she's a priority.
I think you said it, you hit the nail on the head, where it became a choice. You guys chose to prioritize your life, your relationship, your future, that kind of thing. And that is beautiful. And I think what's way no longer in society right now is people are choosing the instant gratification, the chasing of the dopamine hits. They're not making that choice anymore.
And it's because of apps.
I think it's big time because of apps. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, both men and women, although I'm biased because I'm a man and I see it a lot on my social media, men are checking out because they're tired of it.
Yeah.
They're tired of it, you know.
I have seen a nice trend where a lot of women are starting to get simpler phones. They're logging out of Instagram. They're logging out of this. They're going on
maybe
more
that's
walks.
The kind of person I need to date.
And it's funny. I mean, I probably should just have 2 lawn chairs and we sit in my front porch and just watch all the people going by, and you just start interviewing people as they go by.
I've got a pile of wood on my back patio that I need to cut up so I can just burn it and sit by the fire.
You're like, oh, you go for daily walks?
Yeah.
Hey, you want to go on a walk sometime together? You know, kind of thing. I don't know. But it's just, it's, you're seeing in other countries, you know, that B movement, it from what I understood, it actually started from an anti-government, like, fuck the government. We're not going to be forced to marry. We're not going to be forced to do these things. And, you know, America twisted it, and it's like, fuck, man, if they're a MAGA, I don't want to date them. They're a piece of shits.
Yeah.
It's like, well, sorry, gals, most MAGA men are actually really fucking dependable. You know, and you know, the funny thing is right now, this is a side thought with like alcohol. There's all these things bragging about how the alcohol industry is losing billions of dollars because this current generation, you know, half of them aren't even of age, but aren't drinking as much. And I go, okay, can you show the comparison of marijuana use to that age group? Because it's 6 times higher, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of funny because you're going to trade vices and those things. And we are seeing that the exit strategy of men and women, you know, going in there, they're just kind of like, I'm done. I'm done with dealing with this stuff.
And
the sad thing is you're actually having countries paying for American men to come over and impregnate their women to help their population. I mean, Japan is the same
what countries
population
are those?
was.
I got a passport.
They're the same population they were.
Is there a trend of the passport, bro?
It's either 1910 or 1918, but
Yeah.
their population has dropped to be equivalent to like the early 1900s because people aren't having families. People are
Yeah.
leaving. They're not doing it as much. You know, China's fucked up by not only having the one child policy for 40
they
years.
got rid of it. Now they're encouraging children. But yeah, and I think that's the biggest problem is our society has pushed us to a point where we now are just checking out. And where before it was like this empowering thing, it is now proving to be the downfall of our society as a whole. And you know, I like I said earlier, you know, my peace is important to me. It really, really is. It's extremely important to me because I want that more traditional value kind of life. And you know, when it comes to the way that dating is now, and I guess we'll wrap it up with this, but it's like the way that dating is now, the way that it's been, I should say, and I think there's becoming a trend of people becoming more traditional, which is I think great. Not like, you know, men are in charge of everything and women are subjugated anymore, but like just the valuing of each other,
the respect, building things together, understanding each other.
And I think Dawson said it real well when it boils down to choice. You know, check out and choose. What's your closing thought, Dawson?
Well, the reason we did that is we both recognized what destroyed the relationship. And I think the problem is after 40, if you don't take time to understand what you did wrong and what your spouse did wrong in a way that triggered you, made you feel bad, whatever, all those people you dated, you got the serial daters. We've seen those that, well, yeah, on the 6 month mark, I'm done. I check out because I start finding things wrong with them. Well, okay, yeah, there's a lot of truth to that, but you also get to the point where you're accepting of things. You know,
you're not going to find your perfect partner.
You're not just saying, oh, I'm giving up this and this, so I'm being more tolerant. No. It's does that puzzle match my puzzle? Do we blend together? Can we accomplish these things together? Can we do this? And what's funny is the brain knows really on if that person is compatible with you. That's why you're attracted to them. You know, that's what brings you closer to that person. And if you can embrace those attractions and their understanding and where they're coming from, that relationship just grows and grows and grows. And you guys can go through some horrible shit and you get through it. And I think the common mistake people make, these younger kids, is that they have one hard time. Oh, this relationship's not going to work. We're done.
Yeah.
No, it gets better. Your relationship gets better
it
because you get through it.
But like Jason pointed out, and like I said earlier, it comes down to choice.
Yeah.
It comes down to choice.
Choice to fight.
So, all right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us on this wonderful topic of my jadedness with dating.
He's so jaded.
But
our next one will be the positives of dating.
Yeah, because there are positives in dating at this age too. But yeah, we'll get into that next time. In the meantime, though, stay classy, Kansas City.